Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're a coin collector or just someone who likes to check their change for hidden treasures, then you're going to love today's video. We're talking about a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now or stashed away in an old drawer, and it could be worth far more than you think. Yes, we're diving deep into the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark. That's right, the 1946 no mint mark penny. Now at first glance this coin might look like any other old penny. It's brown, it's worn, and it's got that classic image of Abraham Lincoln on the front with the words "In God We Trust" above his head, liberty to his left, and the date 1946 on the right. But look closer, because that small detail, the lack of a mint mark just below the date, can mean everything. So what makes this penny so special? Well, let's go back to 1946 for a second. The United States had just come out of World War II. Millions of soldiers were returning home, and the U.S. Mint was getting back to peacetime coin production. The 1946 Lincoln penny was made mostly from copper with a small amount of tin and zinc, just like pre-war issues. This was the first year after the 1943 steel penny experiment, and by 1946 they were back to copper. Now in that year the U.S. Mint produced pennies at 3 locations: Philadelphia, which used no mint mark; Denver, which used a small D; and San Francisco, which used a small SSO. If your 1946 penny has no letter under the date, that means it was made in Philadelphia. And here's the interesting part: while over 991 million of these were produced at Philadelphia, many of them have not survived in high quality condition. Most of the pennies were circulated and heavily worn, so when you find a 1946 no mint mark Lincoln penny in great shape, it becomes something collectors want. Let's talk value. If you find one in average circulated condition, it might only be worth around 1 to 3 cents, maybe 5 cents to a collector, but the real money comes in when the coin is in what collectors call mint state or uncirculated condition. That means it hasn't been used in everyday transactions. The detail is still sharp, the color is bright, and there's very little wear. In MS60 condition, that's the lowest grade of mint state, you're looking at about $1 to $2, maybe more depending on the eye appeal. In MS65 red, which is a high grade with original red copper luster, the value jumps significantly. We're talking $15 to $25, but wait, it gets better. Some pristine examples graded MS67 red by coin grading services like PCGS or NGC have sold for well over $100, and one exceptional specimen even went for around $125 to $150. Yes, a single penny. Now imagine finding one in your change. Even better, some of these coins can have rare errors, and that's where things get exciting. A double die error or an off-center strike can skyrocket the value. In fact, a double die 1946 penny can be worth hundreds, even thousands, if the error is dramatic and the coin is in great condition. So how do you know if your coin is valuable? First, look for luster and sharp detail. Second, check for errors. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," and look for signs of doubling. Also look at the reverse side where it says 1 cent in United States of America. If you see any unusual spacing, letters that seem to be struck twice, or features that look off, you might have an error coin. And don't forget the color. Collectors prize red pennies above brown or red-brown because they've retained more of their original mint brilliance. The redder the coin, the more it could be worth. So now you might be asking, what's the current market like? Well, coin values can change based on demand, rarity, and recent auction sales. As of now in 2025, the value of a 1946 no mint mark Lincoln penny in mint state red condition is holding strong, around $15 to $50 for top grades, and can reach higher if the coin is certified and well preserved. Even if your coin isn't worth a fortune, it's still a great piece of American history to hold on to, and you never know when that one special error coin might show up in your pocket. So the next time you get change at the store or go through that old coin jar, take a closer look, because your 1946 Lincoln penny might just be worth a whole lot more than 1 cent. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos on rare coins and collectible treasures. Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and history lovers alike. Today we're diving deep into a small but incredibly valuable piece of American history. That's right, we're talking about the Lincoln penny from the 1940s and why some of these coins might be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars in today's market. So grab your coin jar and take a closer look, because you might just be sitting on a hidden treasure. Now let's go back in time for a moment. The 1940s were a critical decade in world history. The United States was involved in World War II, resources were being rationed, and the U.S. Mint had to adapt quickly to the demands of the time. Because of that, the Lincoln penny went through some interesting changes during this era. Originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, the Lincoln cent had already made history by being the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. But during the war years and the years following, production changes and errors led to some extremely rare variations. Let's start with the year 1943. This is one of the most famous years when it comes to valuable Lincoln pennies. In 1943, due to the need for copper in the war effort, the US Mint produced pennies using zinc-coated steel instead of the usual bronze. These steel cents were only made for 1 year. They have a shiny silver appearance and are quite common. But here's the catch. A few 1943 pennies were accidentally struck in bronze, the same metal used before and after the war. These 1943 bronze pennies are extremely rare. Only a handful are known to exist, and if you happen to find one, you could be looking at a value of over $100,000 depending on its condition. Now moving on to the other years in the 1940s. The 1944 penny is also interesting. After the war, the mint returned to using copper for pennies, but there was a twist. Some leftover steel blanks from 1943 were accidentally used in 1944. These steel pennies from 1944 are also incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. One of these coins sold for over $80,000 at auction. Beyond these famous errors, many Lincoln cents from the 1940s are worth more than face value due to their condition, rarity, or mint mark. Pennies from the 1940s were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S. Coins from San Francisco tend to be slightly more valuable due to their lower mintage numbers. Let's talk about key dates and values. A 1940 Lincoln penny in circulated condition is generally worth around 10 to 20 cents. Not bad for a coin that's over 80 years old. But in uncirculated condition, especially if it's graded MS65 or higher by a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC, it can be worth several dollars or more. The 1943 bronze penny, as we mentioned, can reach over $100,000. The 1944 steel penny is also valued extremely high. Other valuable dates include 1946S and 1949S in high grade, and certain doubled die errors found on 1946 and 1949 coins. These doubled dies happen when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned, leading to doubling of the date or lettering on the coin. If you see unusual doubling, especially on the words Liberty or In God We Trust, that could be a big red flag or green flag for value. Now, what makes these coins valuable comes down to 3 major factors: rarity, condition, and demand. A rare coin in poor condition might still be valuable, but not nearly as much as one in pristine mint state. A common coin in perfect condition could also fetch good money. That's why it's essential to know what you're looking at. A magnifying glass and a bit of research can go a long way. If you want to know the exact value of your Lincoln penny, your best bet is to get it professionally graded. But even without grading, you can compare your coin to photos and descriptions online. Look for clean surfaces, minimal wear, and strong details. Coins that have never been circulated and were carefully stored, maybe in a coin folder or an envelope, often have the best value. As of now in the current coin market, prices for 1940s Lincoln pennies are still going strong. The collector community continues to grow and values have either held steady or increased in recent years, especially as more people get into the hobby and search their change for rare coins. Online auctions, coin shows, and collectors' forums are full of interest in 1940s Lincoln cents. So if you think coin collecting is just for fun, think again. It can be profitable too. Before we wrap up, here's a quick pro tip. If you ever see a shiny silver-looking penny from the 1940s, check it carefully. It could be a 1943 steel cent, which is common, or it might be a 1944 steel error, which is incredibly rare. And remember, condition matters. So handle your coins carefully and avoid cleaning them, which can actually decrease their value. So there you have it. The humble Lincoln penny from the 1940s might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket or your piggy bank, but it could be worth much more than 1 cent. From rare wartime errors to high-grade uncirculated gems, these coins tell a story of America's past and possibly your financial future. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more coin value breakdowns, rare finds, and collector tips, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a treasure hunting opportunity. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting! Did you know that a simple penny from 1951 could be worth far more than just 1 cent? Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting, and specifically, we're taking a closer look at the 1951 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. This humble copper coin, once just spare change in someone's pocket, could now be worth a surprising amount of money. So if you've got a jar of old coins lying around, you'll want to stick around until the end of this video. You might be holding onto a small treasure. History of the coin first. let's talk a little about the history of this coin. The 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny was part of a series that began back in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. Prior to this, U.S. coins used symbolic images, like Lady Liberty, designed by Victor David Brenner. The coin shows Lincoln's profile on the front, or obverse side, with the words "In God We Trust" across the top, Liberty to the left, and the year 1951 stamped on the right. If there's no letter beneath the date, it means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. On the reverse side, you'll find 2 wheat stalks on the edges and the words 1 cent and United States of America in bold in the center. This is why collectors call it the wheat penny. Minting in availability now. Let's talk about minting. In 1951, over 284 million of these coins were produced in Philadelphia alone, without a mint mark. That's why it's referred to as the 1951 no mint mark penny. With that high number, it may seem like these coins are common, and many are. But the true value lies in the details. What makes it valuable? So what makes one of these pennies worth more than face value? It comes down to 3 main factors: condition, rarity, and errors. First is condition. A coin in good condition might be worth just a few cents over face value. But a coin in mint state, also known as uncirculated, can be worth significantly more. Coins that have been preserved in pristine condition for over 70 years are far more desirable to collectors. Next is rarity. While millions were made, finding one in mint condition or with a rare variation is much harder. Some coins were struck slightly differently, have die cracks, or were double stamped. These minting errors are extremely attractive to collectors. Finally, there's the market demand. Right now, coin collecting is as popular as ever, and the prices of rare coins are reflecting that. Online marketplaces and auctions are booming with activity. Collectors are paying big bucks for high-grade examples. Recent sales and current market value. Let's get to what everyone wants to know. What is a 1951 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny worth today? In circulated condition, this penny is usually worth between 3 and 15 cents. Not too exciting, right? But here's where things get interesting. If the coin is in uncirculated, mint state condition, we're talking grades like MS63 or MS65, then the value shoots up. These coins can sell for anywhere from $1 to $3 or more depending on quality. But that's not all. In higher grades like MS66 or MS67 with stunning luster and no blemishes, collectors have paid upwards of $50 to $100 for a single coin. One particularly beautiful example even sold at auction for over $150, and then there are the rare error coins. If you come across a 1951 penny with a noticeable minting error like an off-center strike, double die obverse, or clipped planchet, the value can jump dramatically. Some error pennies from this year have fetched $300 or more. That's a big leap from 1 cent. How to check if you have a valuable PNNY? So how can you tell if your 1951 penny is valuable? Start by checking the date and mint mark. If there's no letter under the year, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. Then, take a close look at the condition. If there's minimal wear and sharp details on both sides, that's a great sign. Next, look for any abnormalities. Does the coin have any doubling of the letters or numbers? Any misaligned edges? These could be minting errors that add value. If you're unsure, consider having your coin graded by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can give you an official grade and help you understand the market value. Where to sell or buy? If you discover your penny might be worth something, you have a few options. You can list it on online platforms like eBay or Etsy. Many collectors browse these sites daily. Alternatively, take it to a local coin shop or a coin show where you can get a professional opinion and maybe even sell it on the spot. And if you're looking to collect rather than sell, the 1951 no mint mark penny is an affordable and fascinating addition to any collection. It represents a piece of American history and carries the legacy of one of our greatest presidents, Abraham Lincoln. Closing THOUGHTSO, the next time you come across a handful of old pennies, take a closer look. That 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny could be worth far more than 1 cent. With the right condition or a rare error, you might just be holding a tiny treasure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you won't miss out on more coin collecting tips and coin value guides. Leave a comment below if you found a rare penny in your collection. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, happy collecting and keep your eyes on the change. Welcome back to the channel, where we explore rare coins, valuable collectibles, and the fascinating stories behind them. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing coins in American numismatics, the 1955 D Lincoln penny. You might have one sitting in your change jar, and if you do, it could be worth far more than 1 cent. Let's take a closer look at this special coin, explore its history, discuss the difference between the 1955 D and other 1955 pennies, and most importantly, find out how much it could be worth in today's coin market. The Lincoln cent, first minted in 1909, has been one of the most iconic coins in the United States. Featuring the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, it was designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. For more than a century, these coins have circulated widely, but not all Lincoln pennies are created equal. The year 1955 is especially well known among collectors for a couple of reasons. One is the famous 1955 double-die penny from Philadelphia, a coin with noticeable doubling on the date and lettering that's extremely valuable. But today, we are focusing on the 1955 Denver minted Lincoln cent, marked by the small d under the date on the obverse side. Now, you may be wondering what makes the 1955 D penny special? After all, over 563 million of these pennies were minted in Denver that year. So why are collectors paying attention? The answer lies in condition, rarity of high grades, and certain error varieties. In circulated condition, the 1955 D penny is generally worth a few cents to a few dollars. But when we're talking about coins in uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS65 or higher, the value can rise significantly. MS stands for mint state, and it's part of the coin grading scale used by services like PCGS and NGC. A 1955 D Lincoln penny graded MS65 red, which means it has original red copper color and no wear, can be worth between $50 to over $100 depending on the market. If the coin is in even higher condition, like MS66 or MS67 red, it could be worth several $100s or more. Here's where it gets really interesting. Some rare specimens of the 1955 D penny graded MS67 red have sold at auctions for over $1,000. Yes, you heard that right, a 1-cent coin from 1955 with the D mint mark can sell for over $1,000 if it's in top condition, but that's not all. There are also certain errors and varieties from 1955 that can make your D penny much more valuable. One example is a repunched mint mark, often abbreviated as RPM. This occurs when the mint mark was punched more than once in slightly different locations. These errors are subtle but highly collectible. Collectors look for signs of doubling, overpunched dates, or even die cracks and off-center strikes. These kinds of errors can increase the coin's value dramatically, sometimes from a few dollars to several hundred depending on severity and demand. Let's talk about how to identify whether your 1955 D penny is valuable. First, check the condition. Is it shiny, with full details and little to no wear? If yes, you might have an uncirculated coin. Next, look closely at the mint mark and the date. You might need a magnifying glass or loupe. If you notice any doubling, misaligned lettering, or anything unusual, it could be worth submitting the coin to a professional grading service. Now let's talk about Abraham Lincoln himself, the man behind the image on the penny. Lincoln served as the 16th President of the United States and led the country through the Civil War. He issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, which began the process of freedom for America's slaves, and delivered the Gettysburg Address, one of the most famous speeches in American history. Putting Lincoln on the penny was a significant choice. It was the first time a real person, and especially a former president, had appeared on a circulating U.S. coin. His presence on the coin for more than a century is a tribute to his lasting legacy. Back to the coin market today in 2025. Coin collecting has seen a major rise in popularity in recent years. More people are hunting through pocket change, rolls of coins from the bank, or old family coin jars, hoping to find that one valuable treasure. And the 1955 D Lincoln penny is absolutely one to look out for. So, how can you check the value of your 1955 D penny? You can use resources like the PCGS Price Guide, NGC Coin Explorer, or look at recent auction results on sites like Heritage Auctions and eBay. Make sure you're comparing coins with similar grades and designations, especially whether the coin is red, red-brown, or brown. Red coins are almost always worth more. If your coin looks like it might be in high grade or has a possible error, it's worth sending it to a professional grading service. While there is a fee involved, The increase in value can far outweigh the cost if your coin is truly rare or pristine. Let's wrap up with a quick summary. The 1955 D Lincoln penny is not as famous as the 1955 double die from Philadelphia, but it still holds solid value for collectors, especially in high grades or with error varieties. If you find one in uncirculated condition, especially with original red color, it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent, possibly hundreds or even over $1,000 in rare cases. So don't overlook those old pennies. Check your change, your drawers, your coin collections. You never know, your 1955 D Lincoln penny might just be a hidden treasure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins and collectibles, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a valuable update. Leave a comment below if you found a rare penny or want help identifying one. Have you ever checked your pocket change and wondered if that old penny could be worth a fortune? Well, today, you might want to take a closer look. Because in this video, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in American history, the 1942 Lincoln penny. Yes, that humble copper coin you might think is worthless could actually be worth a lot of money in today's coin collecting market. The 1942 Lincoln penny might not seem special at first glance. After all, it looks like any other wheat penny minted in the early 20th century. It features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and those two iconic wheat stalks on the reverse. But here's the thing, not all 1942 pennies are created equal. And if you happen to have a rare variety or a high-grade version, it could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. First, let's talk about the history. In 1942, the world was at war. World War II was raging, and the United States was heavily involved. Resources were being redirected for the war effort. And while most of the changes in coinage came the following year, in 1943, when the famous steel penny was introduced to save copper, there were still interesting developments in 1942. The mint produced over 600 million pennies that year, so in general, the 1942 Lincoln cent is common. But when it comes to coin collecting, condition, mint mark, and rare errors make all the difference. The standard 1942 penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. These coins were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You'll know the mint by looking under the date on the coin. If there's no mint mark, it was made in Philadelphia. A small d means Denver. An S means San Francisco. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Some 1942 pennies, especially those minted in Denver and San Francisco, are worth more than face value simply due to their lower mintage and higher demand from collectors. But the real money comes when you find a coin in near-perfect condition or one with a minting error. Let's start with high-grade coins. A 1942 penny in average circulated condition might only be worth a few cents, maybe 25 to 50 cents to a collector. But if you have a coin that's in mint state, meaning it hasn't been circulated and still has its original shine, then we're talking real value. A 1942D or 1942S Lincoln penny graded MS65 or higher by a grading service like PCGS or NGC can easily fetch between $100 and several $100s, depending on color and strike, and if your penny has the brilliant red luster that collectors love, it could be worth even more. Red pennies are prized because they haven't oxidized over time like most circulated copper coins do. A stunning, bright red 1942 penny in top condition has sold at auction for over $1,000. That's right, a single penny, worth more than $1,000. Now let's talk about errors, and this is where things get exciting. Coin errors can happen in a number of ways during the minting process, and collectors go wild for rare mistakes. Double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, clipped planchets, these are all terms you'll hear in the error coin world. And yes, there are 1942 Lincoln pennies with these kinds of errors. For example, a 1942 penny with a strong doubled die obverse, meaning the design appears slightly doubled, especially around the date or the word liberty, can be extremely valuable. Depending on the strength of the doubling and the coin's overall condition, such an error coin can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A dramatic off-center strike or a coin that was struck on the wrong planchet, say, a dime planchet, would be even more rare and valuable. Then there's the ultra-rare 1942 proof coins. While official proof pennies weren't minted for general circulation that year, there are a few examples of special strikes or experimental pieces that have surfaced. These coins are incredibly rare, and if you ever come across one, you're looking at a serious payday. These special coins have sold at auctions for several $1,000s or more, depending on rarity and condition. So, How do you know if you have one of these valuable pennies? First, take out your old penny jar and start looking for the 1942 date. Check for a mint mark under the date. Examine the coin closely. Is the design crisp? Does the coin still shine with a reddish luster? Are there any signs of doubling, unusual markings, or an off-center strike? If you see anything unusual, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can drastically reduce its value. Instead, consider getting it graded by a professional coin grading service. A certified grade not only tells you the coin's condition but also helps establish its value on the open market. Serious collectors often only buy graded coins, so this is an important step if you think you have something valuable. As of the current market, in 2025, coin collecting is more popular than ever. Online auctions, social media, and numismatic forums have made it easier for collectors to connect and share knowledge. That means values for rare coins are staying strong, and demand is high for Lincoln wheat cents, especially ones in top condition or with rare errors. A simple 1942 penny, especially a red mint state coin or one with a dramatic error, can still fetch a premium price today. We're talking real money, not just a few dollars, but potentially hundreds or thousands. So don't overlook your loose change. That penny in your drawer might be more than just 1 cent. It could be a piece of history, and a valuable one at that. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who loves coin collecting or history. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos about rare coins, hidden treasures, and collectibles you won't believe are still out there.